Yeah, I just felt I really wanted to share with you something that's coming through very strongly. I haven't quite grasped the full meaning of this yet, but it feels very important just to capture here, mainly so I don't get distracted and forget to share it because it feels highly significant. And I think to coincide with the spring equinox and moving into Easter in this Lenten season. And the message that I'm just like, it's actually not so much a verbal message this time as it is a series of impressions. And it's about a three-star system. And it's interesting because I've been, feeling of late, I've been extremely frustrated. Anybody who watched one of my recent videos would know. And at the same time, just really, really clearer than ever about, kind of the deeper mission and purpose, but equally highly frustrated at just how that's showing up for me in my life, and of course this journey and other things to do with stability and security and even a connection, in terms of soul family and beyond. So I've been in a rather, it's weird, like some days I'm super peaceful and generally content, but a real restlessness, no doubt about that. And so I keep getting these impressions about the three-star system, and where I was headed with all of that, just telling you all of how kind of where I've been is it's interesting because it's been coming to me, more and more, this idea of the three-star system and these things that I've been shown kind of in terms of, those three stars. Again, it ties back to that idea of reconfiguration that I've shared before. And I've been seeing those in conjunction with my own deep, knowing what I talk about, the three, sort of the three-star system that is at the core of who we are, right? We are light and we are life and we are love. And that's why Jesus came, to show us that this is who we are and to lead us on a path and to show us how to walk in the way of life and to honor the light and the life and the love that we are one with and that all are at their core, regardless of their actions and choices. And this is, the very point of life is to come to it fully and to receive in kind life and the life more abundant. And it's interesting because I've been, kind of really, I don't know, just I guess you could say back, not quite in the same way that I would experience it 10, 20, 30 years ago, but really just looking at the stars and can I go home, please? Can I just beat me up, Scotty? I don't think Scotty's the one that's waiting for me. But anyway, I would, I will admit that I have had, in this last year especially, just so many times when I'm just like, yeah, I want to keep being of service. I certainly want to be love as long as I'm here and make the choices, and I want to share what I know to share, but there have been so many times when it just feels like, from my own personal journey, I've been sort of in this void. And it's interesting to me that this three-star system message and then what I've been shown keeps coming through exactly at those times when I am, I wouldn't say, I don't think depression is the right word. It's more of a deep, profound sadness. And I've also been thinking about the word profound because I've been using it a lot in conjunction with profound knowing or profound sadness or profound awareness or profound discontent even at times, or profound love for this earth, for humanity, for myself, for my twin, for others, my child and my son and my other family members and friends some of whom I have positive relationships with, and others with whom there's a distance, and I've been thinking about that word, profound. Profound. For some reason I keep thinking of I'm in favor of being found. And then, there is something profound about just being willing to be with everything. And so these images that I keep seeing of the 3-star system have come in conjunction with those sorts of reflections. And what I've been shown again and again and again is sort of it's combined with these images that I've shared before. So one of the images I've shared before in the context of the Sacred Partnership video series, which, by the way, that will be available, I hope, in April. So look for that soon, as an online experience. But one of the images I've talked about in the video series was of the two triangles that come into alignment within each, first within each individual partner, and then the two triangles coming together in like a Star of David shape, which is actually 3-dimensional, more like a Merkaba kind of shape, or and then that being replicated within the 2, and then those 2 joining with the 3, and I talk about that in the book, the 2 as 3 in 1. And so I've been shown that image with the 3 stars. I've been shown how I talk a lot about how you are a dynamic and sustainable system. We're stars. We're composed of the same stuff as the stars. We're all made of the same stuff. It doesn't matter what country we live in or what color we are, what race or creed or any of that. And my belief is that we are, the substance of life itself is light and life and love, and that's sort of the 3 points of the stars, and that's happening within us. And an alignment to those qualities, those 3 qualities are like the 3 points of the stars. I also, when I keep hearing this 3-pointed or 3-star system, STAR is an acronym I use for souls, truth, and radiance. So, and your soul star, so no, I'm not talking just about like when people describe chakras and they talk about the earth star and the soul star above your crown chakra. I mean, I do believe that is something, but when I say it, I mean with, kind of within your soul itself, I guess, and how that's connected to your etheric body, and it goes everywhere with you, and it's eternal, your eternal nature. That's probably a better way to say it. And so the 3-star system, I also have been called back. This is why I'm really interested to see how this desert experience goes. It's like I keep having to go to the desert, you guys. Like, I mean, oh my gosh, it's like desert of one kind or another. It's and this will be. I'm happy to be going somewhere where I get to actually see some cool sights, and the sky should be beautiful because there's full moon the night that I'll be there. So that's pretty no accident, and I'm excited about that. But I've been, sorry, I'm rambling. Sirius, I've been thinking a lot about Sirius. And I happen to notice, I am so not scientific, but I happen to notice, I don't read much about star seeds or anything like that. Because, I don't know, it just seems like a fascination. Like, I know I am a starseed, and I know, like, of course, like, aren't we all? Like, I don't know. To me, it's just like the whole idea of I'm this or I'm that is sort of misses the point. That's like, you don't want to recreate, with starseed heritage, the same thing that we've created here on Earth with, cultural heritage or race or gender, creed, all of that stuff. And maybe I'm sure that's not everybody's intention or anything like that. But for me, it's always been sort of at the peripheral, because I know why I'm here. I know who I am. I already kind of have a sense with what my purpose is, and I really don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's different people seem to want to tell you a lot of times, but I don't know that it really matters. Like, I don't need to know. I kind of do, but I don't need to know. Like, I am this, 50% this and 40% this and 20% that. And it's this is the best. There's no hierarchy. That's not true to me. That's just misses the point entirely. But that being said, I've always had a deep connection with both Arcturians and Syrian, and I happened to the other day. I forget what I was actually looking for. I was looking for something geez, I can't remember. It was something that somebody mentioned. I don't even remember who this was or what happened, but it wasn't even about Sirius, the star. But in the course of me looking for whatever it was I was initially looking for, I came across a NASA paper, and then another link that was talking about Sirius, and I saw those words, 3-star system. And I was like, no way. I thought it was, Sirius and Sirius B are the ones that I was familiar with. Well, apparently there's a C, or some people say there might be a C or whatever. I did not research it, so full disclaimer here. I'm not, saying that. But what I do know is shortly after I just kind of noticed that, and then I had to go on and put my attention elsewhere. But shortly after that occurred, a very powerful, let's see how to say this. I sometimes receive really intense energetic packages, let's just say, and aligned with much of what I share here when I'm led to share, and I usually do it. I choose how to share it, and what I usually do is share from various scripture passages, and also from my own understanding of Jesus and his life. And so one of those sort of energetic packages came through right after I had seen this 3-star system thing. And it was like the most amazing thing happened. Like it was very fast sequentially, but very smooth in terms of my experience of it. So very not overwhelming in any regard, like just very gentle and beautiful, like, the waves at a shore, kind of lapping the shore. And so I received this energetic packet, sort of, which the way that works for me, it's not always a message that I share directly. It's more like I'm integrating something or holding it, and then often I'm led to connect in a certain space or geographic place or whatever, and then something else happens, and then I sometimes share and I sometimes don't, and so it's just me being open and to receive that, and then to hold it, carry it, release it, activate something, or at times share directly. And so right after that came in, which was not long after I had seen the information about 3-star system and Sirius, the connection to Sirius, and right after that, kind of the coding or whatever came in, and I was sitting down and just being with that, and I really felt and heard, sort of like a new, kind of a shift in the energy, you might say, but also just a beautiful realignment. Again, there's that word. Now, also, this all happened the day after there was that the terror attack that occurred in New Zealand, and that in and of itself is another story I could share here that I'm not going to go into all of the detail, but just suffice it to say that occasionally strange things happen in my environment, and or I'm just aware energetically of something, happening, as probably many of you are in your own way. And so I'm attuned to that. And I had interestingly thought, oh, wow, something's happening. And that's the first time that's occurred for me in quite some time. Let's see, well over a year, maybe even two. And so I took care of what I needed to in my immediate environment that was happening. And I knew it was more than just, normal interference stuff or whatever, computers going haywire from Mercury retrograde, although that was happening, but that I knew it was more than that. And I happened to, and that was the day too that I think Facebook and Instagram were down or whatever, but I happened to, try to, I think it was that day or maybe the day after, but in any case, I tried to go check a news site that didn't come up. And then, so I happened to click on Facebook and saw somebody had posted a prayers for New Zealand. And I thought, oh, there's an earthquake. That was my assumption. I don't know why I made that assumption. And so I actually don't like to watch a lot or read a lot about anything like that. So I just kind of clicked off, assuming there had been an earthquake. But then, something was like just pulling at me. And through a rapid sequence of events, I was alerted in a very bizarre fashion that I needed. Basically, the phrase New Zealand came back up in a really strange, really, really weird way. And it was clear, it was, boom, you must follow up on this again. And so I did, and I found out what's going on. And, I ended up talking to someone I'm close to and put all the pieces together of stuff that had happened for me personally, understood energetically within me what I was being called to do, and was immediately drawn back to this 3 points of light. And even in that conversation I had with this person I'm fairly close to, it was interesting because I was like sad, as was the person I was speaking with. This event had occurred, and excuse me, and I mentioned in that call, I was very moved, and as was the individual I was talking to, and I mentioned, this person knows me very well and knows my heart, and the meaning also the heart of the work that I'm here to share, the way that I am meant to share about these three, the light and the life and the love that we are, and how we are invited into a whole new way of seeing and a whole new way of being and a whole new way of freeing ourselves, and that happening on both the individual and collective levels. And I was mentioning in particular the very first of the 90 Days to Life you've heard me talk about before, the very first Lifeseed. And Spirit was insistent that I leave it as the first. I didn't want to. I was like, why are we putting this one first? That doesn't make any, but it was, the order of them was divinely inspired. It was given to me as it was. I wrote it down. That's one thing that's in the book Seeds for Life and Awakening the World Within and the Cultivating Essence series. You can find those on my website. And that's the one thing that I've written that was purely given. I didn't, that was not, those weren't my words. It was completely given to me. And the very first of the 3 Seeds for Life are 3 passages, and it's talking about how the common origin of the 3 major monotheistic religions and faith traditions, in terms of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and the foundation of those being light. And so the first the 90 Days to Life are all about a return to the light and the life and the love that we are at our core, and then an embrace. And in so doing that, as we reconnect to, the essential self, the essential journey, and our essential truth, the light and the life and the love that we are, then we are able to, move forward in a whole new way individually for a whole new you, and collectively for a whole new way forward together. And so how that works is that we do that through a return to wholeness, meaning to the core of who we are, this 3-star system of light and life and love. And when I was speaking to him about what had happened in New Zealand, and when I was saying that, when are we going to, and I was quoting, I'm particularly fond of a verse that is quoted in that first one from the Quran, and I may share it in a video later because I'm not right in front of it. I don't want to misquote it, so I'm not going to try to remember it right now, but it's a beautiful, beautiful passage, and so that was really present for me. And when I was sharing this, I was suddenly, this person I was talking to didn't know anything about the Sirius connection or the the energetic information that had just come through for me, and all of these visual things I was getting about the 3-star system. But it occurred to me as I was saying this, whoa, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that's repeated, and it's been there all along for us. It's been there all along within us. It's been there all along in the sky. It's been there all along at the very foundation, the pure foundation that has been lost or corrupted in, these 3 streams of faith. And I was remembering, gosh, so many things that I've seen through the years that I cannot possibly speak to here because this would go on forever, but that are about Trinitarian and or triangular or pyramid type structures where the 3 points are critical, and also they're being rearranged. Again, this idea of being reconfigured and moving. And I had many years ago, well, not many years ago, but like 4 years ago, I guess it was, I had saw something in the skies that was quite fascinating. And then in many of my dreams or at times when I'll be receiving something super important, and I know I'm usually aware, I'm not always aware of what it is or what it's for, but I'm usually aware when something is, coming through. And for me, I got to say, there's such a huge emphasis right now out there about learn to get all your chakras right, or learn to channel, or learn to, master this thing or that thing. And really, while we are here for self-mastery, we're here, I believe that comes naturally when we enter into the experience. And the reason I'm saying that right now too is because a part of this visual that just keeps really popping for me is connected to many things that I have seen energetically that have to do with seeing the 3 points that are, that can be metaphorical, but it also can at times be literal, 3 access points. And then, imagine moving down and in from each of the 3 points, and then when you do that, you create a point of singularity, or a collapse is not the right word, but like a concave convex thing, and then it goes up faster. It propels it. I wish I knew science, but anyway, I hope that this is something here is making sense. But I kept seeing that, and then it would be able to kind of morph and change into all different directions, and it was like a seamless. There was like a flow to it, to this happening. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it there for now. So back to Sirius and that connection with the 3-star system. It's also shown that this relates back somehow to France has been really present for me. I think I mentioned that in my last video. It's been my trip in March of 2016. It's very obvious to me what part of that is about. It's been 3 years. And it's very fascinating to me because I had this, awesome plan that 2016, 17, in 18 were going to be, sort of like 3 years where I was going to do these year-long focuses on these three things that actually do correspond very much to the three ideas I just spoke about that are central to what I know that I'm here to share, which is about a return to the light and the life and the love that we are. And I had the best intentions. I had it all mapped out. And I actually did move it forward, and there were all manner of, I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about it. It's part of why I've been so frustrated, but all manner of, I guess you could call them blocks, but not necessarily all from other outside people. Just, it was this craziness. But anyway, it didn't happen. But the star system thing, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't matter for me personally in my work, but also it's like there's this magic that is, and magic doesn't even come close to getting there. It's like the eternal field, it's that field of recreation that I talk about sometimes. It's like that's, the stars are always being reconfigured. And, I remember when I was working on, or when I was pulling together I read a lot of poetry, and that's how I survived. That's how I want to say, that's how I got through this alive, because my journey's been intense in a different way than a lot of other people's has been. It's just been completely forever. It feels like lifetime after lifetime. I'm sure a lot of you feel like that too, and it's been one of the ways that I've dealt with that is just to be super honest in my poetry. And I was putting together a collection of mini poems I wrote about my own experience of this this journey and the dynamic itself. And I called it "Written in the Stars" is the title I gave to that collection. And when I was putting that together, I had all sorts of really interesting, I don't even know what to call them, because they weren't visions and they weren't just ideas. They were like living light connections, like zip, zip, zip. Imagine like a miniature little starships, like scooting around, right? And only they wouldn't happen like in front of me. Like it wouldn't be like I saw something in the sky or I saw something in the air in front of me. It was like little energetic pathways, sort of like lighting up constantly. Only I knew, I had an awareness that I was a part of that energetic pathway that I was perceiving to be outside myself. Not that I was creating it or imagining it, but rather that I was it and it was me. I hope that's making sense. And so that, when I was putting together that poetry book, that was back in, I think, 2015 when I published that. And that was happening, and I remember just being amused by it a bit and not really thinking much about it. But as I've been, receiving all of these various reminders about this idea of the 3-star system and all of the connections that are happening for me around that, I was remembering that, and I was like seeing how each one of us has our own unique 3-star system signature, and that it's being activated again and again and again. And it's not a simple, like, what is it called? Is that Pythagorean theory, where like there's the math of it, the ability is way more than we think it is. Like I used to want to write a novel called 3 to the third. It would just be a symbol, 3 to the third. I was obsessed with the number 27. I don't know what that was about, but anyway, it was like 3 to the third power. And then 3 has, it is a 3 year, and we're in the 3 month of March, and I have twice mentioned that in my videos, and I'm not normally drawn to, when I'm drawn to numbers, it's usually because it's the same, like the same number day, like, it's 11:11, it's 12:12, it's 1:1, that sort of thing. But this month has been just like, it's everywhere. The threes, the 333, and it's like we see it as one thing, but it's really many more things. And I don't exactly know where I'm headed with all of this, but the other thing that's been happening when I've been seeing I talked about the three. Okay, so imagine a plane with three dots, like the three dots of the points of the triangle, and then the energy lines being created to go to a center point that then punctures out in a different puncture's the wrong word, that sounds violent, that moves out in a different direction, up or down or outward. And I've been seeing like those Moravian stars, like in my, again, not just my imagination, it's like my heart, and it's always morphs into, the white rose, which is a symbol that I love very much. And the Moravian star, though, as even that being more than how we normally think of it, and then that inside like one of those, what is it called? The 12-sided thing. I don't know, dodecahedron, I think. Anyway, this is like, I really do wish I had paid attention to those shows that I used to watch with my son who studied engineering, and it probably, if he ever listened to me talking, like he would be like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have a clue what she's talking about, but I don't. I just know that it's important for me to capture it sometimes, and so I do. And that's a lot of how I move through this reality. Other thing I want to say here, I did make a very long recording when I was driving one day last week, and I decided not to share it because I just didn't have time to edit it. But I'm going to sum it up in this. I don't know why I couldn't do this when I was talking. I told some really amazing. I had some really amazing ways of talking about this, but again, it went on forever. But ultimately, what I was saying is this. So many of us, forget that, or I actually believe what I was saying was, I don't know, why some people don't seem to realize that this is part of the work that we need to do, is to be able to express all things and love it in ourselves. Now, that doesn't mean we just flip it all everywhere. But when we try to stifle the energy, it can't become, we aren't allowing ourselves to even see what it is and how beautiful the full dimension of that flowering is. And that's that, star shape, that where it's always becoming something more than what we thought it could be. And so I talked about expression and the ability to honor all that is energetically happening within us, and then, kind of bringing that into a greater balance by honoring it all and holding it, creating a sort of a larger, more spacious field of grace within our own energy field, and then entering into that with one another, which is something that I definitely haven't mastered. And at this point, I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore about my own journey. But I do know that it's important to keep sharing, even sometimes, I don't know, and I would encourage you to do this too. Like, even sometimes when I just talk into a phone like this or record it, even if I don't share it, it really does, I feel like, contribute to it puts it out there as a, not just an idea or a mental construct, but rather as an energetic opening that then it's kind of creating the pathway. And that's a lot, again, of what it's like, opening up the energy and the opportunity is a part of why, I believe that I share what I do, and I don't always see where that's going, but it's a beautiful thing to. It's a terrifying thing. What am I saying? It's not beautiful. It's very messy, and it looks messy to you all. I know that, and it feels messy to me and frightening, and but I do know there's a grace in it, and I'm grateful for that. Last thing about the stars, for now, is that I have increasingly been seeing a unification between the stars and the earth, to include the elements of the earth, and the kind of the constellations, and or clouds, cloud formations, sun, all these interesting things in the sky in terms of colors and rainbow light and all that stuff. A collaboration that is like music, and a mirroring, and ultimately for a reunification between what seems to be the cosmic realms and the earthly kingdoms. So that is really amazing. I don't know exactly what that means, but that's really amazing to me. So, okay, I'm just going to stop because I think I've been talking. Oh, that's cool. Good numbers. All right. Lots of love to you guys. Bye.